Hi, guys. I'm about to dive into a topic that most people skirt around because they don't want to ruffle feathers. But I'm not most people. You've seen it, I've seen it, we've all seen it. The dreaded lack of accountability in women. In today's society, we're force fed this narrative of female empowerment. And I get it to a certain extent, but we are seriously missing the mark when that empowerment is mistaken for entitlement and accountability is thrown out the window. We're caught up in a world that shields women from accountability, a world that allows, encourages, and even incentivizes them to escape from the consequences of their actions. See, women always like to talk about double standards when it suits them. However, they fail to realize the double standards that are out here that work in their favor. This goes back to childhood. A little girl is raised to be able to get away with more things than a boy. A little girl can lie, get caught in that lie, and be let off the hook way easier than a boy simply because she's a girl. Her punishments will typically be way more lenient than a boy. Boys are raised almost from the start to take accountability and that is key. This disparity subconsciously teaches little girls a sense of entitlement. This teaches her that she can get away with anything simply because of her gender. They learn to avoid responsibility, thinking that they're like exempt from consequences just because they're females. It's a toxic cycle that's carried into adulthood. The result is a world where too many women think that they can avoid taking responsibility in relationships, jobs, and life in general, all while blaming someone else. This is what's at the cornerstone of female liberation, Me Too, feminism, etc. Always somebody else's mistake, someone else's fault, never their own. And this narrative is so pervasive that it has successfully infected society to its core. Society has given women an abundance of choices, and the downside is the more choices you tend to have, the less accountability you feel like you have to take because you can always hide behind another choice. This is why I say the vast majority of women are narcissistic in nature, and I've gotten a lot of hate from that. For anyone who doesn't believe me, let me throw some facts your way to prove my point. Number one, female narcissists tend to hate when they're not the center of attention, and they go to excessive lengths to make sure that the spotlight is focused on them. Doesn't this sum up damn near 80% of females on social media and in society? Number two, female narcissists tend to pursue men who are already in committed relationships, and they then aim to sabotage those relationships. How many women out here not only sleep with married men, but prefer married men or men in relationships? Number three, female narcissists tend to self victimize. How many men are locked up right now because a woman provoked him, and then when he actually finally reacted, she played the victim? These men are locked away, their futures and records ruined because a woman refused to accept her part in a situation. Instead of admitting that Instead of admitting that she provoked him, she cries victim. Instead of owning her consent, she regrets it and then later screams, that's not justice, that's manipulation. That's a severe lack of accountability. The truth is that men are being sacrificed, their lives completely ruined, all on the altar of female innocence. Now let's flip the script. How many women do you think are locked away right now because a man lied to dodge accountability? I bet my bottom dollar you can't find very many because women know that the legal system tends to lean in their favor. They're very much aware that they're more likely to be believed, and a lot of them exploit this. Now, don't get me wrong. I'm not saying that every single woman lacks accountability. I know plenty of women that do their fair share of owning up to their actions, but the ones who don't, they're the ones that we're addressing. Accountability is the foundation of any relationship, whether it be romantic, platonic, professional, it doesn't matter. But a lot of women have traded accountability for victimhood. It's usually never her fault. It's always the guy who's wrong, society, her boss, or anyone else but herself. Women have to start taking accountability for their actions, mistakes, and choices. See, it's easier to play the victim than to own up to your own mistakes. It's easier to point the finger and blame the world than to look in the mirror and say, hey, I effed up. I can do better. That's real empowerment. But to be real, all of this is just a symptom of a society that's too quick to play the sexist card whenever a woman's actions are questioned. It's a byproduct of a culture that has bred a lack of personal responsibility. Society is a huge co-conspirator in all of this. Don't get me wrong. It's created a safety net that shields women from accountability. Any man who even slightly questions a woman's actions is quickly labeled as misogynistic. So, what does this do? It perpetuates a cycle of unaccountability. It's a systematic issue, it's an epidemic. To all the men listening, demand accountability from these women. How do you do it? So, when she does something that's out of line or out of pocket and does not take accountability for it, check it then. Don't wait. Because the longer that you wait, the less accountability she will feel like that she needs to take. By you addressing it at the start, it lets her know that with you, accountability is not up for negotiation. See, the problem is that accountability is no longer a requirement for relationships. And when something is not a requirement, people will treat it like it's an option. To the women out there who like to duck and dodge accountability like the plague, it's time to step up, look at yourself in the mirror, and admit when you're wrong. Nobody's perfect. We all make mistakes. But the difference between growth and stagnation lies in your ability to take accountability. So, with that being said, until the next video, I'll see you guys later. Bye.